In the sweltering summer of 1960, a name echoed through the sun-drenched streets of America, a name that would soon become synonymous with rock and roll: Elvis Presley. This king of rhythm and blues wasn't just a singer, he was a phenomenon. His music wasn't just heard, it was felt. It was as if the very air vibrated to the beat of his songs. And it all began with a series of records that would change the landscape of music forever. Elvis Golden Records Volume 3, dropped in 1963, showcased his evolving sound. This album, along with its predecessors, showcased how Elvis mixed country, blues, and gospel into something entirely new. Songs like Fun in Acapulco and The Bullfighter Was a Lady were not just hits, they were milestones. They showed Elvis could capture the spirit of a place and turn it into a song, something few artists could do. The UK fans in particular were eager for more, even going so far as to campaign for certain songs to be included on albums. By 1964, Elvis was at the peak of his power. Roustabout soared to the top of the charts, a testament to his enduring appeal. The album included the hit Little Egypt, a song that had fans dancing and dreaming. Each track on this album was like a scene from a movie, full of energy and life. Roustabout wasn't just music, it was an experience. As the year progressed, Elvis continued to dominate the charts. Girl Happy reached the top in both the US and the UK, proving that his charm was as universal as his music. The album featured a mix of upbeat tunes and slower ballads, showing Elvis's range as an artist. Songs like Spring Fever and Cross My Heart and Hope to Die were not just hits, they were pieces of a larger puzzle, showing how Elvis could tell a story through music. In 1965, Flaming Star and Summer Kisses arrived, but it was more than just another album. UK fans who had been eagerly waiting finally got two exclusive tracks, Flaming Star and Summer Kisses, Winter Tears. This move by RCA Records was a smart one, satisfying fan demands and boosting sales. The album was a mix of love songs and upbeat tunes, with Flaming Star standing out as a track that captured the essence of youth and freedom. Elvis's influence continued to grow, even as he ventured into more diverse musical territories. Elvis for Everyone in 1965 showed his willingness to explore different sounds, from the soulful Your Cheatin' Heart to the catchy Finders Keepers, Losers Weepers. This album was a reflection of Elvis's versatility and his ability to connect with a wide audience. The UK fans, ever loyal, saw special releases tailored just for them. Harem Holiday combined the title track with popular songs from other albums, creating a unique collection that highlighted Elvis's broad appeal. It was a strategic move that paid off, proving that Elvis's music could bridge the Atlantic and captivate listeners on both sides of the ocean. As the 1960s progressed, Elvis's music continued to evolve. How Great Thou Art in 1967 showcased a more introspective side, blending gospel with his signature style. This album was not just a collection of songs, it was a spiritual journey with tracks like How Great Thou Art resonating deeply with listeners. But Elvis wasn't just a singer, he was a performer, and his TV specials brought his magic to millions of homes. The 1968 Elvis TV special was a highlight, featuring a mix of classic hits and new performances. It was a reminder of why he was beloved, his charisma, his voice, and his ability to connect with audiences in a way no one else could. By 1969, Elvis was back in the studio, recording from Elvis in Memphis. This album marked a turning point, a blend of country and rock that showcased his growth as an artist. Tracks like In the Ghetto and Suspicious Minds were not just hits, they were statements reflecting the changing times and Elvis's place in them. As the decade closed, Elvis was preparing for a new chapter. From Memphis to Vegas, From Vegas to Memphis, released in 1969, captured the essence of his live performances, blending the excitement of Vegas with the raw energy of Memphis. It was a double album that gave fans a front-row seat to his shows, solidifying his status as a live performance legend. Elvis Presley didn't just make music, he created an era. His albums were more than collections of songs, they were experiences, capturing a moment in time and forever changing the face of popular music. From the sun-soaked beaches of Acapulco to the gritty streets of Memphis, Elvis's music took us on a journey we'll never forget. In the early 1970s, Elvis Presley was in the midst of a creative and commercially vibrant period, releasing a string of albums that showcased both his enduring appeal and his willingness to explore new sounds. RCA Records, his label, was capitalizing on his popularity by flooding the market with new releases, some of which included budget albums that were also available in the UK. One such album was Almost in Love, released in 1970. This album featured a mix of new songs and some of his older hits, illustrating how RCA was trying to keep Elvis's catalog fresh for fans. The album's UK version reached number 38 on the charts, showing his continued popularity across the Atlantic. Later that year, RCA released Worldwide 50 Gold Award Hits, a box set that compiled 50 of Elvis's biggest hits. This collection demonstrated RCA's strategy of capitalizing on his massive success with comprehensive packages. In the UK, this box set made it to number 49 on the charts, highlighting its appeal beyond the US borders. In 1970, RCA also released Elvis, That's the Way It Is, which marked a return to form for Elvis. This album included a blend of new material and covers, showcasing his versatility. It reached number 21 in the US and number 12 in the UK, solidifying his status as a global star. The following year, 1971, saw the release of I'm 10,000 Years Old, Elvis Country. This album delved into country music, a genre Elvis had always been fond of. It featured classic country tracks alongside some of his own songs reimagined in a country style. The album was a hit, reaching number 12 in the US and number 4 in the UK, showing that Elvis could appeal to both American and British country music fans. Inspiration struck again with You'll Never Walk Alone, an album that combined inspirational songs with some of Elvis's hits. Released in 1971, it reached number 20 in the UK, underlining his broad appeal. Around the same time, Love Letters was released, featuring a mix of romantic ballads and upbeat songs. This album hit number 33 in the US and number 7 in the UK, demonstrating his consistent popularity in both markets. RCA continued to experiment with Elvis's image and sound. Come On Everybody, released in 1971, showcased a more rock-oriented side, with the title track being a significant hit, reaching number 5 in the UK. This album also included a medley of Elvis's hits, showing RCA's strategy of combining new and old to keep fans engaged. Although not as well structured as a typical album, it provided a unique glimpse into Elvis's discography. The year 1972 brought Elvis Now, which featured recent hits and some newer tracks, reaching number 12 in the UK. This album reflected Elvis's ongoing relevance and his ability to adapt to changing musical landscapes. That's All Right Mama, released in 1972, was another compilation that highlighted Elvis's hits from his movies. While not packed with chart-topping singles, it was a nostalgic look at his film career. Around the same time, Elvis, as recorded at Madison Square Garden, captured the energy of a live performance, reaching number 3 in the UK and number 11 in the US, showcasing Elvis's powerful stage presence. This double album featured a mix of his hits and some new tracks, reaching the top of the US charts for a week and number 11 in the UK. The quadraphonic version of this album was particularly sought after by collectors, although finding one could be challenging. The same year, RCA released a straightforward album titled simply Elvis, which included a mix of new and familiar songs. It reached number 16 in the UK, further cementing his status as a global icon. Raised on Rock, released later in 1973, showed Elvis exploring rock influences, blending them with his signature style. This album reflected his ongoing experimentation with different musical genres. Throughout these years, RCA's strategy was clear: keep Elvis's music fresh and accessible to a wide audience. Whether through compilation albums, live recordings, or new studio releases, RCA ensured that Elvis remained a dominant figure in the music industry. His ability to cross genres and connect with fans across the globe made him a true legend, and RCA's releases from this period continue to be celebrated by fans around the world. In the years after Elvis Presley's death, RCA Records did a lot to keep his music alive. They put together many albums, some with songs people had never heard before, and re-released old favorites. It was like a big puzzle, with pieces coming together in different ways. One big move was when Roy Carr from NME, a music magazine, convinced RCA to make a special album with Elvis's Sun Records tracks. This album was very important because it showed a side of Elvis that many fans had not heard before. However, it didn't include one of his famous songs, Harbor Lights, which was a bit of a letdown for some fans. In 1975, RCA put out a collection called the Elvis Presley Sun Collection. It was a mix of songs and interviews, and it became very popular, reaching number 16 in the UK charts. Around the same time, RCA released Pictures of Elvis, which had some rare recordings, including Harbor Lights, making it a special find for fans. The 70s were a time when record companies often repackaged old albums as new ones, creating what we now call budget albums. These weren't officially counted in music charts, but they sold very well. RCA took advantage of this trend, reissuing and combining Elvis's albums in various ways. A big moment came in 1975 when RCA released Elvis Presley's Greatest Hits. It was a massive collection with 107 songs and another album of film songs. It was so popular that it sold 250,000 copies just through mail orders in 7 years. This showed how much people still loved Elvis. In 1976, RCA released From Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee, which included some of Elvis's best studio recordings. They even claimed it was recorded live, but it wasn't. This album reached number 29 in the UK charts. Throughout the 70s, RCA kept putting out new Elvis albums, including live recordings, interviews, and compilation albums. They even released albums featuring Elvis's country music side and his performances for children. One of the most significant releases was Elvis in Concert in 1977, which captured his live energy from a 1977 tour. After Elvis's death, RCA continued to honor his legacy. They released albums like Elvis: The 56 Sessions and Elvis: A Legendary Performer, which included rare interviews and memorabilia. These albums helped keep Elvis's memory alive and introduced new fans to his music. However, not all of these releases were well received. Some were seen as poor compilations or just rehashed old material. For example, Inspirations in 1980, which was a K-Tel release, was considered one of Elvis's lesser albums. Despite the mixed quality, RCA's efforts to release Elvis's music kept his legacy strong. They made sure that Elvis remained a household name, and his influence on music continued to grow. Even bootleg albums, which were illegal, showed how much people still craved Elvis's music. In the end, RCA's extensive release of Elvis's music ensured that his impact on rock and roll would never be forgotten. They created a vast library of Elvis's work, allowing fans to discover new aspects of the King's career for years to come.